Hello, my name is Ed Kuiper, Cloud Architect with Nutanix. Today I'm going to walk you through deploying an F5 BIGIP virtual appliance on AHV from an OVA template that was downloaded directly from F5. The first thing you would need to do is upload the OVA into Nutanix, and you would do that simply by choosing the Explore bar on the top left of Prism, dropping down to OVAs, and you would upload from here. Now, for the sake of time, I've already uploaded it, but you'll see I can do it from a file or from a URL. So I don't have to download the OVA just to upload it. I could grab it directly from the URL from F5's website. So I'll cancel that. Now that it's been uploaded and validated, I will select the BIGIP OVA. I will click Actions and then Deploy as VM. You'll notice when I do this, it starts to bring in all the information from the template. The first thing I'm going to do is give it the VM a name, and I will call it big-ip-from-OVA. You'll see the descriptions filled in. I am going to get rid of some of the extra. There we go. And then you'll notice I can choose which cluster I want to deploy on. And you'll see that I only have one cluster in this setup, so cluster 90 it is. Below that are the VM properties, the CPU, the cores, and the memory. I'm going to use the default from the template. And now you'll see resources. I can add additional disks. I am going to keep that as is. And then under networks, I have 4 interfaces, and I can edit each one, or I could delete interfaces that I may not need. So if I only wanted 3 interfaces, I could choose delete. But since this is the OVA template and there are 4 as default, I will leave that. The first NIC that I add in will be the management Ethernet adapter. So I will choose the first one and I'll put that on subnet or VLAN 901. You'll notice that has IPAM enabled, so that's going to be easy to get to the web configuration utility because the IP address will be assigned using our IP address management. I do have the option to assign a static IP even when using IPAM or just no private IP. So we'll leave it with DHCP and we will hit save. And then for the remaining 3 interfaces, I'm going to use VLAN 1001, 1002, and 1003. And these VLANs or these interfaces, they will not have IPAM enabled. All right, scrolling down, I'm going to leave the boot configuration as default. I'm going to hit next. And now I have the option to assign this VM or virtual appliance to a category that is useful for using Nutanix security policies or using protection policies and many other features within AOS or AHV as well. So under categories, I'll just do production right now. And then for the time zone, I'll use UTC. And I'm not going to do any customization, but if I wanted to sysprep or do cloud init scripting, I could do that here. So I'll hit next. I'll review all of my settings. Everything looks great. And I will launch VM. And this will take a couple of seconds to build. You'll see it says saving VM, and that's gone away. So I'll go back to the Explorer. Now I'll drop into VMs. And you'll notice here is that BIGIP from OVA. The IP address is assigned .180. That's coming from our IP address management. And I will click on that and click more. You'll see it's still building it because power off is grayed out. So while we're waiting, you'll notice that if you scroll down in Prism, you'll see all of the characteristics of this virtual appliance. You'll see the host it's on right now. It's on host 4. It has a host IP. This is the host IP address. You'll notice the vCPU, the memory. You'll see now the power state is on. So we can go ahead and launch the console. And you'll notice that we're already booted up. So I'm going to use the default login, which is root. And the default password is default. And now it's going to prompt me to change the password. So the default password is default. and the new password. All right, and now you'll notice that we've logged in. It's unlicensed. We're going to just type in the word config, but let's give it a second because it does have to restart some services after changing that password for the first time. So while we're waiting, let's just move over a terminal window so that when it's time, I can make some configuration changes and make sure that I can access this through SSH. So we know this IP address was, let's see here, it was 180. So we'll come here, we'll hit up, 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 up. Let's get back to an SSH. There it goes, 180. And we'll just hold there for a moment. And we'll come back here and we'll type the word config. All right, so now this is going to take us through the F5 management port setup. We're going to hit OK. Doesn't look like it's quite ready yet because it's not showing the IP address. There it is. Okay, use automatic configuration of IP address 10.42.90.180. That's what we had. So we're going to say yes for the defaults. And that'll take a moment or two to apply and finish setting up the port setup and again reboot some services. And once we do that, we should be able to SSH in, which we can. All right, now we are inside, and now what I'm going to do is just put a command in here that is going to allow me to reset the management utility password. All right, so that part is done. And I'm going to open up a new browser window and type in HTTPS with that IP address. And you'll notice that it's redirecting us. All right. Once we do that, you'll notice that we've accessed the BIGIP configuration utility, and I'll type a password in. And now we are in the management UI, and we can start to finish the deployment of Big F5 or BIGIP by updating the license and then going ahead and configuring all of the interfaces to our needs. And that was it. That was deploying F5 BIGIP virtual appliance on AHV using an OVA template. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.